Hey, hello guys. Before Canada's winter, I had a really nice live stream with my friend Hugo Guerra of Hugo Desk YouTube channel. And check the link below. Please consider to subscribe his channel. He has a really nice content for compositor and digital artists. After that nice talk, I decided to take the video and also publish here on my channel. And if you like it, please also consider to subscribe my channel. Leave your comment below. Yeah, without further ado, let's go to the video.
Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to Hugo's Desk. Hope you've enjoyed the memes. It's always a fan favorite from everyone. So we have a very special stream today. I have a guest for the first time at Hugo's Desk. We haven't done a stream with someone else yet, so this is very exciting for everyone. I can see a lot of people saying hello on the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you are all giving us here, both to me and to Ali as well. So thank you so much for this. I just wanted to remember everyone that if you have questions for Ali or questions about his processes and about his pipeline, just make sure you post them on the chat. I'll be trying my best to keep up with the speed of the chat and try my best to kind of put the questions in part for Ali to answer. So just before starting this stream, I'm just gonna introduce myself for a second. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Hugo Guerra. I'm a visual effects supervisor and director working in industry for 23 years. And I've worked in a lot of different places in the past. I'm not going to bore you with this. I've worked in a lot of companies. If you guys could be so kind to support my channel, feel free and please consider subscribing to Hugo's Desk on YouTube. That will really help to support the channel. I also have Patreon, and you can also follow me on Twitter if you want to. But I'm not going to waste my time talking about me because this is not about me today. This is about Ali, so I'm going to jump in right away with him, and then we'll start talking with him. So let me just do the switcheroo here. So, hey, Ali, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm incredible. Today I think it was the biggest day of the year to me. I'm really proud to be here, and thanks for everyone that is there in the chat. So thank you so much for being here, everyone.
Oh yeah, you're getting a lot of love on the chat, man.
Oh my God,
it's all this Brazilian love coming across, you know.
Oh God, so cool, man. Thanks a lot.
So yeah, I guess that's why we're here to talk about your incredible work, and also we're going to talk about your incredible work and your career. I mean, for those of you watching, we're basically going to chat a bit. Then Ali is going to be so kind to open some of his pipelines. He's going to show us some cool stuff on Clarisse. He's going to show us some cool stuff on Houdini as well. And then he's going to also talk a little bit about his up-and-coming, amazing online course he's going to have. But we'll get to that. So Ali, why don't you introduce a little bit about yourself to the chat if someone doesn't know you? I think if you don't mind, I'm gonna put your show reel running on the background,
yeah.
and then we can kind of go through it there. So yeah, but why don't you tell everyone here where did you came from? What do you do? What have you done? Tell this beautiful people here what's all about.
Cool, man. Yeah, let's see if I can try to say everything in 3 minutes to not boring the people. But yeah, guys, I am Liber Boss. I'm almost 40 years old. I'm Brazilian. I'm a Brazilian 3D artist. I started studying 3D in 2005, and in 2007, I actually started working in production in Brazil.
Sorry to interrupt you, but everyone can now watch your beautiful work on the background as well.
Oh, so cool.
So that everyone can watch it.
Yeah, and then in 2007, I started working in production and was small studio. I mean, it was the biggest one in south of Brazil, but it's a small one, in comparison with what we are doing now. But yeah, in that time, I was very, very, very generalist. I was doing from simulation, look dev, everything, also compositing, tracking, stuff like that, roto, about those kind of things. And then in 2015, I had the opportunity to go to work in the biggest studio in Brazil called Vitor Zero. It's a big one. I really love those guys. It's an amazing company. It was a very nice time working there. And there I could actually be a bit less generalist and then concentrating more in 3D stuff, but not like doing a lot of simulations, that I was doing before. I kept doing something, like fluid simulations, grooming, fire simulations, more stuff like that. But at some point, we saw that it was important to me, like for my career side, like concentrate only in 3D things and improving my skills, And then by doing that, in 2019, I got honorable mention in ArtStation, and I started getting a lot of opportunities to work abroad, and then I came to Canada to work at Mill. At Mill Film, I remember I got actually the MPC and Mill in that time offer, and then I came actually to work in Mill Films. In Mill Films, I worked it for a year in just one move, in one show that was a Finch move. Probably you guys already saw in the clip. And I spent 1 year working on that, and I had like I don't know, like 60 shots on that show, and I did a lot of stuff. But I could learn a lot. I met a lot of nice people here, and then I had the opportunity to go working again as a character, then a senior character artist at Digital. Oh my God, what's the name? It's a small company. Anyways, and then what is interesting, I got then I offered to go to the NAG and MPC too. MPC was an environmental artist, and then the NAG was a hard surface modeler. And then I decided, no, man, I when I was at the NAG, I was like, okay, I needed to go back to environment because I really love with environments, I really love to do environments. And then, but it was nice because I also got opportunity to tweak a bit with Clarice, I play with Clarice, and again, it's an incredible software that I really, really like. And then, I got Rodeo, position to work, and then now I'm senior environment at Rodeo. It's been 1 year and a half. I'm started leading stuff also, not I'm not leading actually, but I'm leading already some stuff. I'm preparing. They are preparing me to do this. And now I have this opportunity to do my course also. It's something that I was thinking for more than, I don't know, 5 years, because I came from a poor family in Brazil. I didn't have that opportunity to study in a great big school and spend a lot of money. I didn't have a computer at the beginning, and I guess this is going to be a good opportunity to help people, because also the course is going to be very affordable for everyone, and the content, you'll be with the content, it will be the people you'll be like able to achieve, to break the industry, and get a job, if they can show something really, really cool.
Yeah, no, I'm
personal projects.
I'm really happy that you're doing that. I'm really happy that you're making a course. I always tell everyone that I know, all the artists that I worked on, that I worked over my career. And by the way, shout out to the Mill. I've worked at the Mill for many, many years, so I'm glad to see that you were at the Mill Film as well. I have a lot of friends there as well. But
really
no,
love, man.
Yeah, no, no, I wouldn't be where I am if I wouldn't have worked at the Mill. So it's an amazing company to work for. But yeah, I'm really glad you're doing that. I always trying to convince all the seniors that I know to make courses, to share their wisdom, either to make an online course or at least to charge a YouTube channel, at least to start spreading, because I really personally feel that, as seniors, especially people like us, I'm also like you. I also started with nothing in Portugal, and I really had any way to learn these things. I had to learn it the hard way, and I had to like basically, Portugal doesn't have an industry at all, so it's a similar case to Brazil. So I'm really happy to try to convince as many people as possible to do courses, because I think it's a responsibility for the seniors to teach the next generation. It's definitely our responsibility, so that we can get
exactly,
because the future generation is the artists we're going to work with as well. So it's like you want to make sure they are learning from the best and really like sharing spread all that love and all that knowledge. So congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, and regarding to place to study, in that time, like 20 years ago, we didn't have that much of schools, we didn't have actually answers for our questions in Google.
Yeah, I know people don't. We don't know. We don't want to sound like old people, but yes, it's true. Nothing. You couldn't find anything. Couldn't find anyone anywhere. Now, some people are already asking this on the chat, so I'm gonna might as well just jump into that. People are asking which Lord of the Rings movie you worked on. So I guess it's gonna be a good segue to talk about your amazing work at Rodeo. I guess you've worked at Rings of Power. Everyone now had the opportunity to watch it. We're not gonna spoil anything. Don't worry. So it's all available. The whole season has ended now. It's all done. It looks stunning. It looks amazing. So congratulations to Rodeo for the amazing work, and also all the other 20,000 companies that worked on it. It's a massive, massive endeavor. So congratulations for your work. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Like you've been working on the Rings of Power TV show at Rodeo. What was your main tasks there, and tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have that much information yet about Lord of Rings in the internet, and they are preparing something to show to the people. And what I can say is actually just I worked on the Lord of Rings series, Amazon series, and man, which was wonderful, of course. Lord of Rings. Do you remember when we were like just younger? We are just watching, the Lord of Rings in TV, on cinema, and it was like I got it. It was incredible, And then now having my name in the credits, it's something. I have no words to explain.
How did that feel, man? How did that feel? Did you stick around? Because you know how annoying it is, the streaming services. You're watching the show and they just cut the credits right away and goes to the next show. So you have to pause and oh my God, I want to see it.
I mean, probably this one from the Amazon one was like one frame of credits for everyone, and like it was very, very difficult to pause the time.
Microtext, microtext.
My God, man, But by the way, I mean, like I'm just one of the 1,500 people, I guess, artists worked on this show. We have more than 10,000 shots in the whole season, and I'm just one of the artists.
Of course,
there's some artists they did incredible works out there, and I'm just really proud for myself to be one of them. That's
of course.
And by saying that, I know that people want me to talk in more in depth about pipeline, about details, how we did that, and how we I do that, but in reality, it's a bit difficult now to show something because it's really early, the final of the season. And then what I did was, I would prepare something in really, really depth that I could show to the people during the webinar. And then the people can have might have a better understanding how they can build the environment at home, for their personal project, which it's very, very important. And mostly for the junior artists, who are now beginning, it's very, very important. The guys concentrate in personal projects and also doing amazing personal projects. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what we are going to cover today on this webinar.
Yeah.
And then I prepared something really cool, because the way that I did this environment is the same way that we are going to do in any company. In any place you are going to work, you are going to find the same kind of problems, the same kind of workflow pipeline, And that's it.
I'm showing that shot that you're talking about. So basically, this is a shot that Ali has prepared to show on this stream today.
I didn't work on this, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So this shot you're watching now, looping on the screen, this is the shot Ali is referring to, which is not from the show, but it's something very similar to what you would have on this show. Because like Ali said, I know a lot of people probably don't realize this, but a lot of these shows, they are very, it takes a long time for all the breakdowns to come out, all the material to come out. So eventually there will be breakdowns, and eventually there will be a lot of work that will be outed and posted, especially when we get to award season. But right now it's not a lot of things available. The show just finished. Obviously they're not going to show a lot, because they don't want to spoil anything for anyone. So it's always going to come later. So don't everyone here can watch it later. I'm sure Ali will then share it on his social media as well. So before we jump into this shot as well, I just wanted to mention to everyone that I have it on the screen now as well. You all should go and check out Barbosa's art station. It's an amazing art station. He has a lot of work here, and you all should go and follow it. I'm just want to make sure everyone can go and check out some of your amazing work, and also don't forget to follow him on Instagram as well. And also on Twitter, because then you will see all these posts and you'll see all these breakdowns. Yeah. Eventually, you'll be posting them as they come out, And you have a YouTube channel as well, Ali. I know, so you also post a lot of things there. So yeah, go and check all those things out. I'm gonna post the links of all of those channels on the chat for all of you to watch and to follow later. And yeah, sorry, I posted them. Oh my God, I posted them all in a row. Sorry about that. Shouldn't have done that. So yeah, so go make sure you follow and support Ali's work, and also support him as an artist as well.
On Instagram, I usually to post more often in Instagram, and also I'm trying to actually make some tips and tricks, really quick ones, and on Instagram, and the people wants to follow there. It would be nice to have their support. Thanks a lot.
Of course. So I guess before we jump into your shot, you already mentioned that it was amazing to work on the show, and you're currently working full time at Rodeo, aren't you? You're currently working at Rodeo FX, and and I'm guessing it's an incredible busy time right now, isn't it? And I think that's also why I think it's nice that you're launching this course now, because people don't even realize the amount of lack of people we have on the industry. It's insane. The amount of, we just do not, there's so many streaming right now. There's so many films. There's so many TV shows. People really don't realize the problem that it is for all these studios to actually find people to staff. It's really, really important for you to really if you're thinking of working in this industry, go and move forward now. Build your show reel, do some online courses, and apply, because there's so much work out there, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't that your experience as well? There's so much lack of artists right now and so much work to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's not only in the VFX industry. I have seen a couple of advertising studios fighting to find people, and it's getting really, really difficult to find people right now. And there's a lot of work, as you said, streaming are getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And talking about that, man, I've saying, I have said to a couple of people, man, I never show to the people during the interviews, in the latest, actually never, it's too much to say, but in the latest 3 years, I'm not showing to the people my professional works. Actually, I'm selling, I'm getting offers every week, only showing personal projects, because by doing personal project, the people, the recruiter, the leads, the supervisor that you are going to speak later, they will see where you can go, what's the level you can achieve by doing your work alone. They want to see how much work you can do alone, without they need to take your hands and show you every time what you have to do,
Yeah, that's
and
just a reality of things right now as well, because people are mostly working remotely, and
yeah,
so they need to you need to almost be a one-man show of knowing almost as much as you can, so that you can help out on every step of the way and every step of the production. Yeah, that's really good advice, man. That's really
yeah,
good advice, because I've noticed that in the past, where people are a bit afraid of sending their show reel. Oh, I don't have all my shows from the last 2 years. Oh, I don't have permission yet to show this film. Or I don't have
yes,
permission to do this TV show. None of this matters. You should all send it anyway, because on your CV, it's going to say that you've worked on the film, and it's going to say that it's worked on the TV show. And all the recruitments in the world, they know this. They know that you can't show it yet, but they know about the shows. Everyone knows each other. It's a very small industry. Everyone will know what's going on. So don't be afraid
yeah.
of not sharing it.
Yeah, and saying that, man, like we are not allowed to show every time, like the show what we did, like show in depth what we did in that show, because as we said, like there's 100,000, people working out there in a lot of different shows, in a lot of different subjects in our field. But like what I'm saying about personal projects, it's because also besides you improving your skills, you can show actually what you want, what you
Yeah.
can do,
And you can do a full breakdown. You can show everything. You can show
exactly,
turntables. You can show. You don't
exactly,
have to wait for maybe your shot will be available on the stream, and maybe
exactly,
it will be
man.
on the show reel. No, absolutely. This is an amazing advice.
Yeah, because sometimes, like working in 3D, for example, in the environment, there's some shots you are going to do just a one rock here in one
Yeah.
side. The another people you do that tree, it's another side, and like you another one are going to do the terrain, the mountain. Another one you do the matte painting, projection, and some composition, pre-comp, And when you do your personal project, you are going to do from scratch. You are going to build your environment alone, and
Yeah.
then you are going to you need to take care about the photograph. You need to take care about the lighting, shading,
Yeah. Yeah.
every steps
Yeah.
until
Absolutely.
the final to the shot.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, and then you get the opportunity to be interviewed for some foreign company, and then you are going to show your personal work, and then the people you see, oh, you did all aspects on this shot.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And then if you have something, don't need to be like something like not like you can compare of a movie. You don't need to get there like so early in your career, but show that you can, well, that you can do some model,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Of
can
course.
open, then they know that you can open UVs. They know that you can do some lighting, and then they can have someone that really help, finish the movie in their side. That's my advice, man. Take care about personal projects and doing that.
Cool, man. No, it's an amazing advice. I always keep saying that to my students as well. So okay, so let's get this show on the road, because a lot of people are asking about this. So this
Yeah.
is the shot that you are going to show today. This is a different shot from your online course. We'll get to your online course in a minute. We have quite a few people asking when is your course available, and we'll show the shot in a minute. And we also have a bit of a time lapse to show you. But this shot that we have open here, which is your personal shot with the river valley with the heads, and a very Lord of the Rings inspired shot.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you show us a little bit of how something like this was built? Because like you said, this is a great way of presenting a personal shot for your show
Yeah.
reel, because you can do the
Yeah.
whole thing. There's no footage, there's nothing depending on it. There's no animation as well, which means you don't have to focus too much on having character animation and having things that could be problematic for you to do alone. It's
Yeah.
just an environment, which is really a much easier task for you to handle by yourself, without having a large team. So,
Yeah.
do you want to talk a bit about it? And I guess you want to share your screen while you do it, or you want to do that?
Yeah, man. Let's go
Yeah,
for it.
let's
Go
get
for
this
it.
going. So, I'm gonna share this. Yeah. So yeah, go for it.
Let me
Share your
share my
screen.
screen. Okay. Can you see?
Yeah,
All right.
we share your
Okay,
screen
cool.
for sure. Cool.
Cool. Okay, guys. So here we are in Houdini. So this is, I started this environment actually in a bit different way because usually what we do is take the layout of the project. Usually we do the layout in Maya, for example. You can do it in any software, actually. You can do in Blender, in 3ds Max, doesn't matter where you are going to start. But usually, and that's the way I did in my course, it's actually start from the layout. And then after doing the layout, we go to Houdini. But in this time, I started directly in Houdini. So I started from high fields, this node here. And then I created some lines, just the curves, like this one here and this one there. And then I used them as a mask, mask by object, and I created this guy here on this side. And then I went to this side here, and I just create another sphere on this point, like here. And just to blur a bit because I don't want that part really, really sharp. So, and then just shrink, actually I expand a bit. And actually I'll go a bit more fast on this part. So I just create a first layer for the cliff. It's like that. And then I went in another side here. I create another line, this one here. It's another layer. And then I have two layers here. I merged them together. So this one and then this one here. And then I create another layer. Why I do this? Because when we do a lot of layers, it creates more variation and makes the environment much more organic. It works for cliff, it works for mountain terrains, anything. So as we have much more variations, we can get more organic things. So then I create another layer. So now we see here, we already have like a really, really nice side. So
and this is, sorry to interrupt you, this is all procedural, right? So you're basically just
everything procedural.
Yeah, so you're basically just affecting this base geometry with basically a bunch of processes and noises and patterns to try to come up with a random landscape, right? Is that the case?
Exactly. But here, what is fun in Houdini, it's very fun to work with high fields because you can create anything actually. Once you understand how the layers, the behavior of each layer, you can mix them together and then start creating more. And actually, you can have a lot of control. At the beginning, I was like, and by the way, man, like I know that this looks really complicated at the beginning, but in my course, for example, I took care. Sorry for speaking about the course, but I need to say like this because like at the beginning, I did like kind of overview, explain each node that you need to learn to create any kind of terrain, Okay, but then let's go again back here. So, and then I create another layer here. So that is this one. So it's a higher one. So, and then I clip the top part of this guy. And then I blur it a bit, just the top part of this one. And then I create another noise just to not having nothing like really, really sharp in our plateau, reflect in our plateau. So, and then I went into another stuff here. I created this small stuff here. And then I decided to merge them together with the other stuff that we had. So before we had this, and then we have more those guys here in the sides, because later on when I have the camera like going from here, from this point, I have opportunity to grow some trees around on this place here, And then the same thing happened like later, let me go here. The next layer, I created another layer of terrain on the back. So before was this, and then I create another one there. Okay, then I just painting the environment, Here I create another one, a small one, really in the very foreground, because my camera would pass near of this place here, and then I have an opportunity to actually do something nice for the camera. Let me just check one thing here. So I have the camera already placed. So by doing that, I could see where I'm putting all those details. What I did actually, just to make you guys understand one thing, the camera, I did the animation of the camera in Maya actually, but I exported just a low poly version of this to Maya just to have a better reference about scale, position, and then I could put the camera animated on Houdini
Yeah, yeah.
and import it again. So okay,
Which is actually a very normal thing to do, because a lot of times the camera would come from somewhere else anyway. Because a lot
yeah,
of imagine if this was actually a plate that they've shot somehow, and you were just adding more environments, the
exactly.
camera would have come from the match move department, or even from 3D tracking
Layout.
department, layout, or
Yeah,
from another department. Then it probably would have been done on Maya, or would have been cleaned up
yeah.
in Maya anyway. So
Usually, we don't need to take care of this in work, the day
yeah.
by day of work. But it's a really good practice, I would say, to the people. That's another thing. Personal projects make you learn layout, make you learn camera. Photograph. And then yeah, let's go. Let's
And
continue here.
that's actually really good advice, because the what it will gives you as well is a full understanding of what comes before and comes after because
Yes, man.
you're having to deal with everything. So then okay, I need to like take care of this, because I just did layout and it was really hard, and I have to fix this and that. So it's actually a really great way to learn your position in the pipeline by knowing a bit of everything. I'm not suggesting everyone should be a generalist, but I'm really thinking that having a general knowledge is really beneficial in this industry for sure.
Yeah, man, because yeah, you're not gonna break the pipeline, the workflow in the company, and also, man, I would say you might have your by doing that you can open more your, how can I say, you can open your opportunities to get a job, like
Yeah.
okay, you can do something different in another place, another department. You can change or switch the department as the company you are working on need, okay. So let's go again back here. Are you sharing the screen again or not?
I am still sharing the screen, of course. No, yeah,
Okay,
of
okay.
course.
Oh no, I
Of
thought
course,
when you're
you have
speaking.
no. You have 300 people watching, man. Come on, let's go.
Okay. Awesome, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for being here.
You're
So
getting a lot of love. You're getting a lot of love from Brazil as well. So a lot of love.
oh, cool. So yeah, keep it here, keep in track. And if you have any question, I can go back here and just show
Yeah.
more stuff in that. So I used the mask by feature. That's a nice one to select just the bottom part of the cliff, and then I just shrink a bit because it was cutting my border here. I just shrink a bit the mask, blur it a bit, and then I did the remap to push it just a little bit down in the border. So I have this, and then I create a noise, and then I blur it a bit more, shrink again, and then I remap it again. So I have 2 layers of depth for my river later on. So then I create a high field mask. So this one is the same node that we used a couple of minutes ago to select the river. That is this one here. I use the same node, but in different way now. I use this node to select the slope of the terrain. So actually to avoid the flat areas of the cliff. So if that, I can actually use it later to bring more details just in the sides. Okay, I did distortion, like was here, and then I just distort a bit more. I came back with my mask by feature because actually my mask by feature stopped working well in that time. And then clear the mask, and then I used the high field erode. So high field erode is pretty cool because it's pretty cool one because you can actually simulate the age of your terrain, because it creates kind of debris, sediments, you can see the flow of water in reality, where the water and the sediment will go. And later, I used it to extract those data. For example, if I click here on this small eye on the side, you can see the data is already stored here in my geometry. There is a mask, cliff, mesa. Sorry. Sorry, let me take a water just a second. Okay. So I have those datas here, and then I like to use those datas in LookDev later. I like to extract those ones in Clarice to build my LookDev. So we are going to speak about that just in a bit. So, and then I converted the model, so now it's a really stretched geometry here. When I convert the high field, it actually become a geometry, because high field, it's not geometry, it's a volume, actually. It's a 2D volume. So then I did the remesh, and then I created a cache of this, because remesh remesh, it's taking reading all the time, it's keeping reading all the time. When you open the file, when you stop and change something, you need to go back. And then just to not waste time, I just create a cache, and then I blur it, the side. So now I have a cleaned geometry, and then I subdivide this one. Now it's gonna be getting like a very heavy geometry. By the way, my computer is there's a 64 gigas of memory. It's a RTX 228. And
you need to get more RAM, man. Come on.
Yeah, I need, man. I need. It's actually I'm already using all the memory. It's fun because my computer 5 years ago was just 16 of memory, and I was doing my just 16, and I was doing a lot of work, and it was fine, And then I put 32, and then start like 6 months later was, oh my god, this is just a bit. I need more memory. And then I put 64.
If I give any advice to anyone, never be cheap on the memory. Like I have currently, I have 384 gigs of RAM, and I also use the whole thing. I started with 256, and now I have 384. It is really, you never have enough RAM. That's the thing. There's a couple of people asking a question that has really a lot to do with what you're doing right now. So I wanted to just jump in with that question, if you don't mind. So I have Rodrigo Hurtado. Thank you so much for your question. I also have Angelo Bonton. They basically have the same question, really. Rodrigo and Angelo. Rodrigo has the question, what about other terrain generators like World Machine, Gaia, etc.? And then Angelo asks, what about other softwares like Quad Spinner? So why would you decide to do this in Houdini? I know the answer, but I'm asking you for the audience. Why would you decide to use Houdini instead of using a terrain generator?
Yeah, I mean, I did some tests in Gaia and also World Machine. Those softwares pretty cool. It's really nice ones. But I felt like in Houdini we have more control. Yeah. Because there's one point, man. It's worth to mention. Like when you see tutorials in the internet, when you get some free videos about high fields or any kind of terrain, you always see terrains really, really far. You never see terrains really, really close up the camera. It's really higher. You see that because it's a complex stuff to do. There's an anatomy that you need to take care, and there's a couple of things that you need to have in mind when you work in industry. Your supervisor might get to you and say, Ale, could you change this and that stuff here, small stuff here? And then you thought, okay, but how can I do this in Word Builder or Gaia or anything else? I'm talking about something really hero shot here, okay? It's a hero shot. It's not something for the background. For the background, you can use another one. But to me, in my point of view, I felt like Houdini, I can have more control. And also I can capture the pipeline in the same software for longer, in the steps that I needed to do. And then
I guess, Ale, also the other thing that this really taps into is that obviously the industry, it's always good for you to be software agnostic, of course. I'm software agnostic. Yeah. Most of us should be. We should use whatever whatever works for what you're trying to achieve. But there is a reason, like some softwares are industry standard. And obviously right now, Houdini is an industry standard. And I would say for all the audience, the chances of you getting a job as an Houdini artist are much higher than you becoming an artist and being hired as a world machine artist or a Gaia artist. I think
Yeah.
Houdini is much more used on the industry, is much more industry standard. So
Yeah.
it will basically open up more chances for you to get a job. I think also that also means, but of course it's because of its procedural nature
Yeah.
that it really makes a huge difference. Like just like you said, if you have a client comment, you can actually go in and change it much easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know another stuff. For example, by the way, it's a good answer and an awesome answer actually. I don't know in World Machine. I'm pretty sure that we can't, but in Gaia, I'm not sure. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But for example, if I needed to place my camera here, because usually when we are doing environments, we are doing for the camera. So if I have my camera here, so I can check every step, how higher my cliff is right now, where those details are placed. I can take care of each detail in through the camera and then go improving my cliff as I go. And another stuff, it's actually about, for example, if I go here and place show all, for example, I have the heads that I have skipped in the brush. So I can have a better view where my camera is right now. So if I have to do this in Gaia, how I would do this, how I would check this. And also in dailies, for example, every day we need to do dailies, or each 2 days, we need to present something to the production, because they need to see how the work is progressing. So it would be very complicated if I kept this environment in another package.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, it gives a lot of problems in the fact that a lot of times, I know a lot of people always have this idea that, we should be using the best tool, we should be using the latest tool. But the reality is on a company, you can't always use whatever you want. You have to use something that is connected to their pipeline.
Exactly.
You can't just replace a pipeline right away. We're talking about millions of dollars, to do a pipeline, and also we're talking about hundreds of artists. You can't just swap it. That's why I think the approach for everyone listening, anyone that will do the course that Ali has, or even people that are doing my own course, you should always consider software agnosticy and just use the software that is being used in the industry and just evolve there. I think that's the best approach.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep here. Keep going. So, and then I used the point VOP, and extract the vector by normals here. I placed a ramp parameter, and just to put here the ramp in color, just to show what it is actually. Let's see if it's taking longer a bit. Okay, it's computed. So as you can see, I did the mask like I did in mask by feature, but here I did by hand, the same kind of mask. And just for the sides, I left the side of the cliff empty. So cool. And then just disconnect here. Okay. And then using the bind, I exported this data. I created this data called the mask side. So if I go here, for example, and click on the attributes, I have mask side stored in my points attributes. Cool. So using this one, I could create this another one. Let me show just a bit. It's loading.
Yeah, I think someone is actually asking this exact thing. We have Gemena Grozio, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. So Gemena Grozio is asking, could you show us what's inside the ATT VOP for the mask side in rock big shapes? So I think,
yes,
yeah.
I will be showing you. So let me just put the camera here again. So as you guys can see, are those details that I have created just on this node here, again with a lot of control. Okay, this is good. I have some details here. It's not the ones that I used. I didn't use all those details in the last render, but it's there. It's there actually. Okay, let me go and show to our friend what I have
Yeah,
inside.
Jemina, thank you so much for your question, by the way. Thanks for all the
Yeah,
questions
pretty-
so far. It's been great.
yeah, cool. Okay, Jimana, o nome da?
Yeah,
Her name
Jimana.
is
I think that's Jimana. I think that's how you say it. Sorry
Jimana.
if I'm
Okay,
mispronouncing it.
okay. So here I have. Let me just start from where I would start.
There's some
Okay.
there's some minds exploding on the chat, but they look
Cool.
at your node graph here.
Oh, cool. Okay, this one's a small one. Okay, guys, it's not that big one. It looks complicated, but it's very easy actually. So I'm using the Voronoi. Okay, as you guys can see here, I have some parameters. It's very small Voronoi frequency. I have another Worley here in the back, the bottom part, and then I have to subtract each one. So, and then I placed the add here, and I use the AI anti-alias noise. Why I did this? Because doing this in place in the position, I can, let me just stop sharing just for a second.
Of course.
Okay, yeah. By doing this, by doing the anti-alias in the position and putting the position of the Voronoi and the Worley, the lines that it's separating itself, the Voronoi and Worley noise will create kind of small details in between. So this will create some variations, you know. And if you increase the value of your anti-alias noise, for example, let me go back to the screen now. It's important this. Okay. For example, if you see here the value, the amplitude is 30. So it's a lot. It's very strong value, you know. The frequency, it's very small, but the amplitude is it's too big. So yeah, and then I could create some variations for the lines. That's it. Probably I will be doing some tutorials of this this week on my Instagram actually. Okay, and then I place the fit range here just to sharp a bit the values. You know, it's like a remap or like contrast. You know. The values that I did here, and I did it for the both ones. And then, yeah, and then I needed to mix those details. So I created a AI noise again, really big one. And then, you know, I have white and black colors. By using the black and white color, I could use as a mask. So that I used to blend the two values here, Voronoi and Worley in the mix. And then, okay, at this point, you know, I have all applied for the entire cliff. And then I got here the import point. As you guys can see, I'm using the attribute mask side is the one that I have created a bit before, you know. I used this one and I used the feature range to actually apply all those details just where I have the white color. So let me come back here to my cliff. Sorry, it's loading.
Man, we're getting a lot of questions, man.
Cool. So yeah, so as you guys can see, for example, I have the details only in the sides, you know, because I imported the attribute from here, from this guy here, from mask side. Okay, and then I create lines. Let me go to the next node. So as you guys can see in the nature, we have rocks and then we can have some lines also. So those kind of, sorry, let me go here, 1 point. Those horizontal lines, you guys can see it's not everywhere. Because also I used a noise to apply those kind of lines just in some parts. I don't need that everywhere, you know. I don't need that detail everywhere. So as you guys can see, I have here, but I don't have here that much. So this creates a lot of organic details. And then I have the small one. Let me just load it again.
It's funny that you're showing that the organic nature of your scratches and lines and everything there. There's a really interesting question here from the chat, which is from Sinat Krish. I hope that's your name. Sinat Krish is asking, Do you do this right away in the software, or do you sometimes start by sketching or doing some concept art? So how is the process normally to do something like this?
Yeah, it's funny. It's a good question, actually. Man, I'm not a concept artist. I do
But
some
you would
concept
fool me
for my.
because you would fool me because your personal stuff looks amazing.
So thank you, man. So yeah, getting to the question. Usually I start just throwing ideas with some reference. I
Yeah.
grab a lot of reference. I like, actually, it's a good point. Also I like to take pictures. I like to see nature by, just appreciating, outside, contemplating the nature, the details of rocks. Sometimes I saw some moss in one tree, for example, and I kept there like for 5-10 minutes just to look in the macro details. And that's something that also, I guess, brings me a lot of inspiration. And usually I don't do sketches. Usually I start throwing ideas here, and I'm checking if that it's working or not as I go. And now I'm trying to show you guys something really straight away, and it looks like, no, Ale did this very easy, but it's not that. There's a lot of numbers inside of it node here that I needed to play, to see what's happening in my environment. So I did a couple of tests. Of course, I'm not spending a lot of time anymore because I'm already experienced using this tool. But still, I'm still playing a lot with the numbers to see what's happening. And sometimes I deleted some nodes and start again from scratch with another approach. And yeah, I hope this will answer your question, bro.
And I guess also, like, for most pipelines in most companies, you would have been working against some concept art already done by someone else, isn't it? You would have gotten like concept art from the concept art department also, or maybe references from the director, or maybe like a Bible reference document with everything. So then you would have worked from there and then just start experimenting directly on the software, isn't it?
Yeah, usually it's like that. Usually we take a concept that usually the concept is already also approved by the client, and then we go to that point. And I'm not doing a lot of sketches like for my environments, actually, because sometimes I like to just take some concepts that I like it in ArtStation, and by mixing different ideas, I can create my own environment.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's it. I like to see also pictures. I like to take follow some natural photographers. I have one, by the way, Diego Rebelo and Sueli and Tieco. They have a YouTube channel, Sueli and Tieco. They are very, very amazing photographers. They are Brazilian photographers. They live in Vancouver, and they have like a really stunning pictures to having as a reference.
Cool.
And I used it for my creation, actually. Okay. Any more questions before we go? We're going to go.
You're gonna leave Houdini now, or is that the case?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
So I guess one question here I have. Well, it's a more generic question, general question, but I have a question from Rodrigo Hurtado. He's asking, considering a studio pipeline, what would be the reasoned development time for a shot like this? How many days of work would you reasonably spend on creating this on a production?
Well, it's a good question because it's not like it's not like some numbers that I can say precisely, because depends on the company, depends on how they organize, And for example, I guess at Rodeo, we would have like enough time, and like, say, 2 months to work on this, probably 3 months, but not working alone, And it would be like 2-3 artists sometimes. I don't know. Actually, I did some environments alone at Rodeo already, but it's not all the time that happened, And like, by the way, it's taking 2 months to have this shot done, but it's not only environment. Sometimes the environment we need to do in 3 weeks, 1 month, because later you have the lighting team that you take care of the lighting for the shot, and then you have after the lighting team the compositors. You start working on it, and then the compositor might take like more 3 months, depends on the feedback from the client.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I
Absolutely,
mean,
yeah, yeah. It's very hard to. It's a trick. Like, I mean, I know this. It's really hard to answer that question. Of course, for everyone
yes,
involved, it really depends on the shot. Depends on the pipeline. Depends also on the comments, on the feedback from the client. Depends on so many different things, and also when you're waiting for other departments and other things, it's really tricky to answer. But I think you
yeah,
answered really well. I
I
guess
hope.
I have a more technical question here. Well, not semi-technical question. This is from Angelo Bonton. He's asking, sorry, Bonton. Sorry, Angelo Bonton. Angelo is asking, is the scattering done in Clarisse or Houdini or both? He's talking about the vegetation scattering.
Yeah, we are going to go there in a little bit, bro. But just to let you know, I like mainly, for example, here you see mask scatter. Maybe that's why you ask it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think that's
I
why.
create,
Yeah, because it's there. Yeah.
yeah, I created the point VOP here and create the mask, like we did for the sides of the cliff. I use the same principle, but creating the mask for the scattering this time. And then I create another mask here for the river. And then I like to actually store those attributes in my Alembic file. And then I will be showing you in just a little bit, Angelo, that I used it to extract those data in Clarisse and then using that as a mask, you know, and using triplanar noises, I can create a procedural look depth. Okay, let me just show a bit. Don't have that much to explain about the castle, but actually I wanted to show because I don't have that much procedural construction in my personal work. I have done some in at Rhodium, my work, but not in my personal things. I want to start doing more. So here. Let me just do this. So this is my tree for my castle. Looks small right now because there's some stuff that I did inside of some nodes. So the castle, let me just go here. So I have the brick for the castle, and then I created this kind of wall, and then I just create a randomized attribute to make some colors, and then I cut the side using Boolean. I just cut the side here, and then I use the cop node and then create this kind of thing. And then I using another Boolean. Actually, here I have the door. Let me just see the thing. Yeah, I have the door here, and then I just use it to Boolean my stuff, my wall. And then let me just go to this side. So here I have the arc for the castle. And actually, let me go a bit back. Sorry, guys, for that. So this is not the same castle as you can see in the shot. I mean, it's the same castle as you can see the shot, but it's not exactly like the one in the actual shot. It's much more simplified one, you know. Like I worked for the camera, like the camera was like here, you know, it's very far away, you know, and I just wanted the same sort of details that we have on the shot. So, and then, yeah, let me just go a bit really quickly because I want to show some Clarice stuff. So, and here I have the arc for the castle, for the door, sorry. Then I merged with some other stuff that I have on the top here. So probably it's, sorry, yeah, it's here. So I have this guy here on the top. I have some pillars here. So the pillar, it's just the pillar is here. So the pillar is like that. I start from the circle, and then I created more another circles here, the boolean, then create this kind of detail. Oops, oops. And then I boolean then again, create another boolean just for the small tiny details. No one you see that in the shot, but it's there. So it's pretty common, right, Hugo? We do a lot of details and no one see that later.
Put a blur. It's defocused. Damn. No one will ever see
or
it.
dark. Oh, it's very dark. Yeah, and then like I create this guy here and get this details, and then I just copy, and then I have this guy here done, and then I just scale it down, and then let me just merge here. So I create very simple, just cylinders. Let me go down. If I see something that it's worth to show, I create the basic. Let me just go here. Yeah, and then we have the merged guys together. And then like I used the same wall that we did at the beginning. As you guys can see, it's going the line here, and then go to this part. So in here, in this small node here, let's see inside of this. I have those. I have more stuff inside of this guy here. So yeah, and yeah, I created some boxes here just to break up the windows, and then I create this. But I mean, it's procedural work here, but to be honest, it's not that fully procedural, because like it's possible change. It's very easy to change anything here, but I don't have that controls, slides, stuff like that. Just to change scales and add stuff as I change the number, stuff like that. It's a procedural, but a simplified procedural work. And actually, guys, I did the environment in 12 days, not 2 months, not 1 month of work. So it was just less than 2 weeks. So, and then I just copy those guys here and create more volumes. That's it. Create those details in the border. I'd like to go more in depth, but we have just 1 hour. I mean, I guess we already...
We already did that 1 hour.
Oh my God, man.
I was just like letting you know on the chat that we already done 1 hour.
Oh my God,
yeah, so,
man.
but it's fine. It's fine. As long as you want to continue, we can continue a bit more. Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you regarding this, actually. So we have Mamad Dilshad. I am so sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. So Mamad is asking, on an optimization side, could you make your models more detailed when they're closer to camera using, like, for example, ZBrush, and make the cliff less detailed on the background when it's away from camera? So I guess that's this question. Do you actually use those kind of optimizations where you have more detail on the front and less detail on the back? Do you do those kind of things?
Actually not, because the camera is going... It's going from the start of the cliff and then going to the back of the cliff, And and there's one point about this. For example, when I was using another softwares to render, I was feeling like blocked, in my creative, because I needed to take care about polygons all the time. I needed to take care about, oh my God, this is so heavy, will take longer to render, and that's why I like Clarice in this to render, because with Clarice don't care about polygons. I will be showing you guys in just a bit. So I guess we can go there.
We actually what I was gonna say is that, as people know from my streams, we always have, when we're streaming for more than an hour, we always do a little short break so that people can stretch their legs and get some water. So if you're happy to stick around for a bit longer, because we have a lot of questions, I'm happy to do like a short break so we can all stretch our legs and get some water. We always do a responsible stream here. So and before you jump into Clarice, so are you okay with that, Ali?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Let's do that then. Let's do that. We have a lot of questions, so I'm going to most people say here that they would like to see this for 24 hours, this stream. We're not going to be here for 24 hours, folks. So yeah,
sorry about that.
So yeah, let's just stop sharing your screen for a second, and let's just Yeah, so like I said, Ali, we have a lot of questions and we'll go through them, and I'm marking them all here. We might not go through all of them, okay? I just want everyone to know because I think we already have more than 50 questions. So
We have to do the second round, man.
yeah,
We have to
exactly.
do
We're
the
gonna have
second
to do
round.
part two. So for
Yeah.
now, I'm gonna advise everyone to stretch your legs, get some water, look away from your screen for a few minutes. It's very important for you to keep your a healthy check always. So make sure you stretch your legs so you get some blood flowing. We'll be right back. It won't be as long as it usually is. Usually I do a 10-minute break. We'll just do a 5-minute break, okay? So we'll be right back, and I'll see you all in about 5 minutes. Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for still sticking around. Yeah, we just did a really short break. We're gonna go back to Ali and continue the stream. We have a lot. We know we have a lot of questions. Okay, everyone, don't worry. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna have a lot of questions in the end. But now I think Ali really wants to show you guys a bit of Clarice. I think most people here are asking about Clarice anyway. So let's just jump in right in. So you're ready. You have the floor, Ali. Go for it.
Yes. Cool. Let's go for Clarice. Man, I love this software. And actually, let me just see if I can close
And I guess like I'll start right away with a question because a lot of people have asked this. I'll start right away. So I have a question from Old Zen. That's a cool name. Old Zen is asking, my company is moving to Clarice, from Clarice to Houdini. Is it still worth learning Clarice? That's his first question. Is it still worth learning Clarice? And I guess, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Man, it's a difficult question, because depends what you are going to do, which company you are going to work on. There's some companies, big companies like IBM. I know they use the NEG. They still using Clarice. Rodeo probably will keep using Clarice for longer. Let me just stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, I can see that it's crashed a little bit there. It's fine. Yeah. I have a meme for that. Whenever something crashes, we have our customary garbage truck on fire.
Yeah,
as everyone knows.
Yeah, but I'm back now. Okay, cool.
No, I know it's a tough question. I know it's a tough question, and it's not an easy question to answer. But I guess the main thing really for me is like Clarice is not. It's not like not a lot of people. Sometimes not a lot of people are aware of it, and a lot of people are not really using it. I guess that's where that question is coming from.
Yes. It's not that popular for artists out there, but it's very popular in the companies. And if the guys watch Clarice showreel, they will see that, man, a lot of big blockbusters they used Clarice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Clarice is very powerful. As you guys can see, for example, in my home computer now on this project here, I have 46 billions of polygons in primitives actually in my screen. It's 3 millions of geometries and 40 billions, more than 40 billions of polygons. And like my computer was
insane. That's insane. That's insane.
I'm rotating my screen and checking it out. My environment is everything there. There's a lot of stuff that you don't see. But let's say the client to ask, I create the environment here for this camera. My camera, it's like I can select my camera here. Actually, I'm just go. So I can go here and just move my camera and see everything I'm doing. I have a lot of details here, and actually I can change the color in my screen in Clarice just to see better what I'm doing. And there's a lot of stuff that we don't see in the actual shots. For example, that the veins, I have created here, we don't see in the shot. And by the way, I forgot to show you guys one thing. This, for example, and now I've closed my Houdini, so it should take longer to show again. But I can show later. So this, for example, is a one of the rocks that I have created procedurally in Houdini. It's of course I did the reduced polygons for this one, but it's not that reduced because you can see 1,000,006 polygons. So it's a very big amount of geometry for another package. In Clarice, we don't care about polygons actually, And then what I would say, okay, yeah. And talking about procedural work, I guess someone have asked it before. So let me just open the. So yeah. By the way, let me just go a bit more in depth with Clarice. So Clarice, usually you guys can see here, I have a couple of folders that we called contexts in Clarice, and here I have Megscan. I didn't use Megscan assets for this shot. I used only plants and surface shaders, surface textures. And yeah, the rocks are everything were made in Houdini by myself procedurally, as the rest. The heads I have created in ZBrush, script in ZBrush. And Clarice will use that, the context, to show you what you want to render. For example, I have all the assets here in my asset context. They are all here, but they are not being rendered. What I have rendered, it's only where I have called environment that are being displayed here. For example, if I go to another 3D view, for example, here, and let's say I want to see only, not the environment, but let's go to the asset. I want to see actually, well, let's see one thing, cliff canal, for example. I can throw this context here, and I will be checking only the cliff, and then by doing that, I can actually start creating my look dev in Clarice.
And I guess before you jump in, there's one thing I wanted to ask you for people listening that don't really know much about Clarice. Mm-hmm. How are you bringing all of this to Clarice, by the way? Like, could you tell people how does that work? Like, what kind of file formats and what kind of pipeline workflow happens from Houdini to Clarice, so that people understand how it works?
Yeah, this is something important, and I took care about this during my course, for example, to make the workflow and the pipeline really clear for everyone, even the junior artists. They will be able to understand the workflow and the pipeline, how it works properly. And I used the Alembic files to export everything. Mm-hmm. I exported from Houdini Alembic files, and then in Clarice, I could actually read all those files in attributes that I used. For example, the masks that I have created in Houdini, I can use here everything. Really easy.
So it's all directly in Alembic, and okay, that's cool.
Directly in Alembic, exactly. And when I do download, for example, let's say the grasses, for example, I did download from Megscan for the grasses, and those grasses are everything in Alembic. And this is like also a procedural work, because, for example, here now it's already in local, because this file here is the same one that I used to send it to the render farm, And by the way, Fox Render Farm will give $100 of points for everyone that you buy my course. That's a good thing to say. And like here, for example, the cliff, it's not in referenced yet anymore. It's not referenced anymore, but it's already here. But for example, let's say I'm working here in Clarice, and the client asked to change something. I can change again in Houdini and export. Once I exported again Clarice, from Houdini in Clarice, you'll be loading automatically here. So I will have a button just to reload stuff. Just to give you an idea what I'm saying, it's like, let's say I'm going here to reference file, and let's say if I can take one of those guys here. For example, you see Houdini, other cliff, ABC, and then I have let me see which one. Can take a waterfall. Just a second. Cliff canal. Okay, I will be loading this guy. So now you guys can see here, I have cliff canal referenced from my hard drive. And any change I needed to do, I just needed to reload here automatically. If my Clarice is closed, when I open, it will be showing up automatically. That's a good thing. And let me just delete this guy here.
So this means that people can be working on the background, other artists could be working on these assets, and you can just be like glad.
Exactly.
Yeah, having everything. Yeah, that's really cool.
Exactly. If you are doing a collab, for example, working with some friends, they can work together. That was the workflow. If the people watch my breakdown, my dinosaur breakdown, for example, they can have a better understand the workflow. how the company used to do it, when they do a big shots, when you have more than one artist working in something at the same time, it's the professional workflow. Okay, let me just show the shading of this guy here for the cliff, for example. Okay, this is very complex one, and sorry about that. It's gonna be hard to explain actually, because it's really quick time like to show something, but I will be trying my best to do it. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have 3 shaders. So this guy's here, this one here, and this one here. Those guys are just 3 shaders, but this one here, it's the main one. And this one here, this part at the beginning is the texture that came from Megscan, and then I have triplanars, and then I have here, let me see if I'm using that. Yeah, and then I have here extract repeaters. This node here, it's the node that allowed me to extract some data from Houdini. So here, for example, I'm using the same name that I have exported from Houdini, that it's mask scatter. So the mask scatter, I used actually also to put the grass on top of my rocks, on top of my terrain, because it's not separated geometries. It's everything the same stuff. So but I know that those flattened areas could be snow, could be just dirty. In my case, it's a grass. So I just place a texture, grass texture there. Let me just see if I can preview that. Just a second. It's loading. It's take a bit long here to load, depends on the size of the files that you are working on. But once you have this loaded, you see, it's there. Oh, the previews is a bit shit. Oh, it's not that perfect, but you can have billions of polygons on your screen for free, and exactly. You can. And here, for example, it's the mask from Houdini, the mask scatter, that later on I used also to scatter my grasses. And this is came back to the question when someone asked me about the scattering, how if I used the Houdini or I used Clarisse. Man, I used Clarisse because it's very, very easy, In Clarisse, let me just load one stuff here really quickly. Okay, let me go to the env. So, and here in env, all those guys here that I placed some different colors, it's different scatterers. And to scatter, I used just basically principal nodes. They are point clouds and then scatter. Point clouds, it's those guys that store the position of my grasses. So, for example, I placed here just the scatter. So you guys can see it's just where I want. So I extract repeaters again. You see here, I'm using this one. And then on point cloud, I choose the geometry where I want my scatter, my points scattered. And then what else here? Okay, this one, it's there. And then I have here the color correction. Actually, the color correction is just to desaturate, but actually here I didn't use, but anyways. Yeah, this color correction actually is the texture for my scatterer, and then I use the scatterer node. It's actually the one that import all those grasses here. And you see those the small icon that I have here. It's a combiner one. So this combiner, it's the way that we used to put more than one asset in the same place. For example, talking about that, for example, I take the rocks. I did 3 rocks procedurally in Houdini. So I'm trying to not make it boring, guys. Sorry for that, but it's a very it's a difficult subject talking about. So here I have stand rocks, for example. Let me just take those guys here. So here, oh, by the way, there's one here without texture, but we don't see in the camera anyways. And then here I have all the rocks. Okay, it's all the rocks here is it's standing. It's combiners. They are combined. And then I have in asset, I have created one big combiner with all the rocks inside of it. Let me just go here in my asset. Yeah. Here I have a combiner with all the rocks inside of it. And I used this to create a position to scatter my grass, scatter pebbles, scatter trees, the same guy. So that's why when I came to the shot, for example, here I have also the grass on top, grass texture. And yeah, I guess that's it. And if the people have a question, you'll be very helpful.
I have some questions.
I can know where I go.
No, I have some questions. So Freddy is well. First of all, I have to just say that Fran Yoshi, which usually comes to the show all the time. So thank you so much for coming, Fran Yoshi. He's actually saying that this is not a question, but he's actually saying I am one of those guys that didn't even knew about Clarice, and this is really important that everyone on the audience here listens to. Clarice is really used in production in a lot of films, like Ali mentioned. You guys all should go and check it out because it's a very powerful tool, and it is becoming slowly more and more industry standard. So for those of you that don't even know what Clarice is, I would really recommend you to go to the Isotropics website. I know they have a trial. Maybe try it, maybe give it a go because it's a very powerful tool. But yeah, going to the question, Freddy asks, what render engine are you using in Clarice? So that's basically his question. I already know this answer, but I just wanted you to answer.
Yeah, of course. Man, I mean, Clarice, it has the proper render inside of it, but it's very, very similar Arnold in Maya. Or in Katana.
So it's like a global illumination based render,
the same
right?
Principle, PBR stuff, and the same kind of way to build the shade inside of Clarice is gonna be in Maya or in Katana. But in my opinion, it's easier, much more easier doing the shader in Clarice than in any other package. To be honest, it's very, very quick to do. And and talking about Clarice, for example, now we are talking. I had a meeting with them yesterday, and we are now planning something to give to the students of my course, because this course is something like, and I guess we could go to the course, no? Because the course we can show more stuff of Clarice, and then
yeah, of course. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it on the background going. So
can you just share a screen with me?
Of course. Well, no, I can't. Well, sorry, I can't share your screen now, because if I share my screen, then it won't work for the camera. Sorry, I should have done this in a better way, but I can't do that. But what I can do is people are now watching. Well, sorry, this is the wrong one. I opened by the mistake. I opened the Dino thing. Let me just gonna open first. Apologies, everyone. I'm just loading up
let's do one thing. When you do the play in your side, just to tell me, because then I can try to speak at the same time. Well,
first of all, what I'm showing right now, which I'm looping, is the actual end result. So this is the final shot, just the final shot, not the time lapse. So for everyone listening now, this is the shot that the course will have. And I guess, why don't you tell us a little bit about that before I even jump into the time-lapse, which I'll let you know when I'm playing it. This is the final render, right? And that's the objective of everyone doing this course, isn't it, Ali?
Man, talking about this course, I spent 7 months doing this. I would do this as I did the Numenor in 2 weeks. I could do this shot in 3 weeks, working. And I built from scratch. I put a lot of love, a lot of effort, because I came back a couple of times, rebuilding some classes to make it very, very clear for everyone. because this was one plan of my life, like doing a course and helping the junior, the intermediate artists achieve better results in their projects, and yeah, man, like that was the plan for
And
this
so this
course.
shot
And
that people are now watching, like which is this like this beautiful environment with the castle and the lake and the river and everything. This is the typical kind of shot that you would have done on Rings of Power,
Lord of
or
Rings,
yeah, on Lord of
yeah.
the Rings, on Rings of Power. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's so. And why don't you tell people like what kind of softwares and what kind of like workflows are going to be showing to develop this shot? You're going to go through a lot of softwares, aren't you, to try to develop this
Yes.
entire thing?
Yeah, how about we go to the clip, because the clip
Yeah,
we
yeah,
will
shows
will answer
everything.
this
Yeah, yeah,
question and probably more question the people might have.
yeah.
When you do play, please tell me, and then I will play it together.
Of course, of course. I'm gonna put it in loop, so you know. So it's gonna be
Mhm.
in loop, and I'm gonna start playing in three. So 1, 2, 3, playing it.
Okay, with the cursor, we start grabbing some references. How the texture would be done at the beginning, and all the reference for the environment itself. And then I'll go to talking about the pipeline, which software we can use, and show them they can have another type of softwares, just to do the layouts. And then I show the layout workflow. I show the Houdini workflow, and then Clarice workflow. Really, really clear, designed for everyone understanding the process, how the whole process of the work. And then this one, the castle that I did, and it will be free for everyone. Everyone could take it, and then they will be able also to do the procedural look dev for the castle. And then I start like creating the layout. I place some this red stuff were the reference for the scale. And then still in Maya, I start building just the blocking of terrain, just to have something to show in my dailies. I'm pretending that I'm working on an industry here on this project. So we started from really simple stuff like in Maya, creating the layout, placing the camera, doing some animation, trying to find the photo of the shot. So yeah, here you guys can see I'm just improving, trying to match the concept that I did before. I took some arts from other artists and then placed together a couple of them, and then just created my own art, my own concept just for this environment. Actually was just a guide, was not I don't want my concept as a final result, but actually a point of start. And then I will teach something about camera, positioning the camera, and then once we have like all the details and camera animated, I felt like we needed to improve more the layout. We went back. It's kind of daily process, kind of same way that we used it to work in the industry. Same kind of thing, improving, teach some curves. The guys can do it in software. And then here is just an overview of Houdini high fields. I show them start nodes, trace nodes, noise, different noise, how they can play with each node, how they can actually mix different nodes, how they can import objects and apply as a mask, as projections. In our case, as we did for the layout in Maya, we are going to project the detail, the layout in Houdini. And that's make very, very, very easy, because then we can import also the camera from Maya and take the same result. And by the way, I will teach also how that we need to scale down the overall construction in Houdini, because that's also help us to save memory, to save processing times, And yeah, I'll be teaching that. You guys can see here, I'm just projecting the tails in the mountain, creating masks, creating details, creating all the features that I want, always checking some references. Um, yeah, more details, more layers. As you guys can see, I'm placing more layers. I came back to Maya to check and fix some parts of the terrain that was not working well. I kept doing this in Maya because I could do in Houdini, but usually the layout thing needs to change when you need to change something, you know. Then instead of changing in Houdini, I changed in Maya again, trying to keep the pipeline workflow, the workflow as a like pretending that we are working in a company. Okay, then create, this is the final result of terrain, of the cliffs, and also the foreground. Then we don't have that path in the round path in the concept, but I placed that because I got like this would bring more story for storytelling for our environment. Then I will teaching Clarice, I will teach by first creating a template that will help you guys create any kind of environment. I will teach how to create a library. I'll be giving the library in my ArtStation also. Yeah, and then I will teach how to create procedural textures for the leaves, for example, having different plants, but having different colors, but using the same textures. But you can create variations procedurally by using point data from each asset that I have created. And then yeah, and then place the castle, started importing stuff in Clarice, and then place some lighting, you know, place just to feel the volume is much better. Then we can see actually how the environment is going, you know, with some lighting. It's when you feel the environment actually. And yeah, and then place some placeholders to create shadows for like shadow from the clouds. And let me see more. Yeah, creating volumes, creating lighting. This is the castle, the procedural shader of the castle. I hope you guys can see the same thing that I'm saying.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's exactly in the same
Cool.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, the look dev in the castle, it's fully procedural, just using triplanars. There were just one piece that needed to use UV, that was the roof that was not in the good position. Then I decided just create a UV, straight UV for that. And then like using ambient occlusion, curvature, we can create stands, we can create more dirty to the concretes, and then start shading the water. And the water, it's animated, but it's not simulation. It's actually procedural texture animated. It's just a couple of noises mixed together and creating that sense that it's a water flowing, but actually it's just a noise animated. And some of them are they are like broken a bit, creating more roughness in some areas and more like a flat water in some places. That's I'll be doing during the class. And then also I'll be teaching some like coding stuff, really small ones, just to create procedural applied shader. It's called the shading layer in Clarice. It's very powerful. For example, for the castle, I did the names for each geometry, you know, and then automatically to take the texture that I want. And as you guys can see, I placed the rocks. I was just balancing the color. You guys can see it's very realistic way, you know, like a very realistic, even without composition, you know. That's really something that I really want to do because I'm not that really good compositor, you know. I'm trying to my best to do the 3D and let the compers doing their work because it's a very complex subject, you know, Hugo.
Yeah, but
So,
I guess they can get all the AOVs and then they can take from there and yeah, exactly.
It's important. Yeah. Again, it's important to know something. So
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do, and at least I can show something, you know, and they can show also. You see, guys, we have the path there with with shader. You know, it was using the extracts repeaters again from Houdini, and here we have the grasses and scatter everything together, plants, bushes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Oh, you go. Let's go.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, and then I start scattering more stuff. You know, I'll be teaching how. You see, here is much more by hand like just painting. Like in Houdini is very complex to painting, scattering, stuff like that. In Clarisse is very, like giving a lot of freedom, just painting like like a canvas, That was my feeling, And yeah, I just painting some bushes, flowers, stuff like that. And yeah, and then scatter more stuff. Let's see. Yeah, for the background. Yeah, that's something worth to say. It's about like a split the work, like I worked first for the foreground and then for the background, and then I took just a bit of care for the very background, and because also the background will be I'll be doing kind of the matte painting later on, but yeah, again, it's everything procedural work, You see the mask that I'm creating in Clarisse is the same type of mask that we have created in Houdini, but here in Clarisse it's very powerful to use it. Cool. If the people have questions in between, or
there's a lot of questions, yes, but I was just like, I didn't want to interrupt you, of course. Didn't want to interrupt you. So do you want to jump into some questions?
Yeah, maybe we can, man, because for example, here we are with the trees, we have volumes already, placed there. And then let me see, yeah, we placed some VDB clouds that I have created especially for our course. And what else? Yeah, as you guys can see, I'm placing by hand, Not everything is automatically and procedural, because we need to put the hand and place everything where you actually want, not only where the computer give you the chance to put. So that's something that we use to do. Like I place some stuff by hand, and this is now it's the part you like it, man. It's some nuke stuff. I didn't create my build. Actually, it was a very simple. I didn't want to complicate it.
And you're doing an ACES workflow all the way, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I was using ACE all the time, and also like, yeah, I didn't build my build on.
It's funny. It's funny that you're saying that. Like just the other day, a few weeks ago, I was at the View conference in Italy presenting, and some of the questions I had from people were related to ACES, where some people were asking me, is it even worth it using ACES? Is it dying off? And I really want to categorically tell everyone that ACES is the industry standard right now. Like there's there's no going around it. Eventually you'll have to deal with it. I'm just like letting everyone know that if you don't like ACES, too bad. You're going to have to do it anyway, because everyone is using ACES. I've been using ACES for 3.5 years now, and I will never go back, ever. I will never go back.
Yeah, no, and actually it's impossible. You get more realism than using without using ACES.
Absolutely.
ACES give a lot of realism for the colors and all the balance, everything. It's very... It's I mean,
yeah, and I can see you also go through the background matte painting as well in Nuke, which is cool. Yeah. It's very simple, nothing fancy, It's not a class, actually, guys. It's not a class of matte painting. It was just a breakdown. I shown a bit, but it was not the focus of the course. The course was building 3D environments, and you guys could do actually the mountains in the background. They could do in Houdini and. Doing from there, in Clarisse, it's possible to do it. And then the birds that I added was something that I did in 3ds Max really quickly. And then, we can stop playing. Yeah, I'm playing. I just stopped just now. Cool, man. Well, this is fantastic work. Congratulations. I mean,
thank you, man.
I think it looks amazing. I think, you should know already that like a lot of questions have to do with the fact, when will this course be available? That's most of the questions we have, or people asking, when is it available? Can they buy it now? Where can I find it? So I have Andrea asking, where can they find the course? I have like Vitaly ask, where is the course going? Like there's a lot of people asking about that. So why don't you tell people a little bit about when is this course going to be available and where will it be available?
How about you ask Manny and Umberto to come together here.
Well,
They give me the opportunity to say that.
well, let's start with
Okay.
the easy one. Where will it be
Yeah,
available?
yeah. I mean, like, first and first, I was planning, like last year to create an environment course, and was very hard to find one way to do it in the best way as possible, to create the best quality as possible, because I did not want my course to be just one more. I really really want to have the best course, but actually the one that might help a lot the people get a job, or even growing in their position. And then I got the contact from Domestica, and then I start speaking with them. Like we start like having our how can I say, friendship, like negotiations and talk. And then I was I was very happy actually, because they have a price very affordable in all those courses they have in their platform.
Yeah.
And this make me very, very happy, because that's was something that the people might are passing by now, like it's if you have like a really, really expensive course for the people, for everyone, it's not that easy for everyone buy it. But I just wanted to give a good point of start for everyone, like taking my course really affordable price. And then now getting through the the winter. I guess probably in a couple of weeks, 1 month, not more than it. I guess like in 2 or 3 weeks, we are
Yeah.
going to have the launching,
Yeah.
the course released.
And I
We are
guess
now.
I guess it would be very fair to say that people should definitely follow you on social media for
Yes.
them to get a latest news about when this course is gonna
Yeah.
drop. So everyone needs to go and follow Ali on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. He's gonna be
Yeah.
announcing it, and I'm actually gonna like show that on the screen. So be sure to follow Ali Barbosa. It's Ali Barbosa underscore ENV environment for Instagram. He's going to be,
Yeah.
of course, promoting it there. On Twitter, you can also follow him. I think
Oh,
it's
I didn't
almost.
use Twitter anymore that much. I use just Instagram and
Well, I'm gonna
and
say it anyway. So you have Alora Barbosa underscore art as well, and then of course the art station as well. I'm showing it on the screen, by the way, as well.
thanks, man.
And of course your YouTube channel as well, which
Yeah.
can be found here. So let me just open it up here. So your YouTube
And there's
channel.
a LinkedIn also.
Yeah,
LinkedIn
there's
is
a
very,
LinkedIn
very.
as well. Yeah, so Ali Barbosa on YouTube as well. So please go and follow Ali, because Ali is going to be posting about this course, and I'm also going to be posting about the course. So if anyone follows me on social media, we will definitely be posting everyone for the course when it's available. And not to mention that, I'm sure I'll have Ali back as well when we're closer to the course, and he can come over and talk a bit more about the course, So I'll
Yeah.
definitely invite him over again to the show, and you guys will have more chances to ask questions. But yeah,
And
so
we can
it's
get
so
over also, right? We can get over the question then for the not to answer questions also.
Yeah.
But and I was just about to say something. Um, yeah, and like for example, the course we will be releasing, okay, and we are now finishing the editing of the course and make sure that we have a good content in the course, and just to be just to make everyone knows about this is something that is important to say. Like the platform is the course online, is pre-recorded course, but I will be there in the community, answering question. If I see everyone like they're having the same kind of issues or same kind of problems that the course is not like that clear, I can do. Probably this will happen. Like the people might have some different problems, and then I will be happy to do a video and then just updating the course. We do this a lot.
Oh
Like
yeah,
just
yeah. Yeah,
just
yeah.
updating stuff. If I see new ways to do something, also I will be updating the course. That's something that we are going to do.
Cool.
And it's important they follow on Instagram, because in Instagram you'll be like doing.
You're going to be posting,
posts
yeah.
about-
I posted
about
on the
that.
chat now, so all your links are on the chat as well. Please go and
Thanks a lot, man.
subscribe to
Appreciate it.
Ali. Please go and follow him. So Ali, I know this stream is a lot longer than we planned. We planned
Wow.
for an hour.
Yeah.
We've been already here for 2 hours. But do you mind if we do a few questions? A lot of people ask questions, and I think we
Man.
should go for a few at least.
Oh
So
man, it's gonna be a pleasure. For sure. Let's go.
okay, so I'm gonna go from the beginning because a lot of people have asked their questions for a long time and they're still waiting for it. So I'm gonna ask for the beginning. So I have a question here. Let's see here. Rodrigo Hurtado is asking, could you summarize, and I guess we need to summarize because we're going to do it like rapid fire. We're going to answer these questions really quick now. So Rodrigo is asking, could you summarize the main technical and artistic skills required for a senior environment artist position? What would be the technical and artistic skills required to be you, I guess?
Yeah, I guess first you need to be able to work alone without that much of notes. This is the first thing. And then, okay, you know this, and then you need to think, okay, what tools I need to learn. In my case, my day by day of work, I used a couple of them. I used, let's start from beginning. Maya, it's the first one. Second one, Houdini. Third one, Clarice. Fourth one, Katana. Speed Tree, Substance Painter. That are those main Nuke. And then Nuke. Yeah, those are 6 softwares, I guess. Yeah, man. But I remember 5 years ago I was using 20 softwares, different softwares.
Yeah,
and then
of
it
course.
was 3ds Max, Marvelous Designer. Oh, ZBrush also, but I'm not using that much ZBrush. I'm not having opportunity to use ZBrush in the show that I'm working right now. And that's something that happened, like you study a lot of ZBrush and then you take a project that you need to work and then you stay like 6 months without open ZBrush. That's something that might happen. The same thing might happen with Houdini also, and inverse, you can go to ZBrush and forget Houdini for a couple
But
of months.
that's the software. What about the artistic skills? What are your opinions about that?
Man, artistic skills, I guess the people need to have a good understanding about photograph or environment. It's essential. Like if you have a camera, even your mobile, you have to go out and take pictures because this is very, it's a kind of training, practice you doing this.
And it's really good advice because you'll be surprised by the amount of students that don't do that. And I mean, I have thousands of students over the last decades, and a lot of people just say, "Oh, but I just want to learn the software. I don't need to take photos." Like a lot of people really focus too much on the software, and like photography, like Ali is saying, so important. It will teach you composition. It will teach you color. It will teach you about light. And it will teach you how things look in the real world, because otherwise how are you going to achieve realism if you don't know how things look, So go out of your office, go out of your room and take photos outside. I think that's the most important thing, really.
One thing I really like at the end, I'm starting having those guys, like I have Diego, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then like I like to see the guys painting using watercolor.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple of people like go out, for example, in nature, and then starting painting watercolor. I've been doing it with my wife sometimes. Sometimes we go here in the living room. We take some cakes, coffee, and painting together and talking, having fun with my wife, and just painting some with watercolor. I didn't show for anyone did my watercolor, but I'm doing, like I'm doing this. It's relaxing, it's very chill stuff to do. But also, it's something that training your brain when you have some challenges in your digital work to do. And this is man. I won't say like, oh, you don't need to take a course of something like let's say a higher degrees with art or something like this. It's good if you have.
Yeah, of course.
You don't,
of course.
It's good.
Yeah.
But you don't need to go that further, like that. But
no. I mean, I treasure it quite a lot. Like I have an art degree. I have a master's in fine arts, and it has helped my career immensely. So I think, coming from Portugal where university is free, you should just go for it. Because if it's free, man, go for it. Don't even waste your time, because
Yeah.
not a lot of countries or have free university. In Europe, most countries in Europe have it, and you should take that advantage. But it's definitely not mandatory for you to have a degree. Of course not. Like, it's not
Yeah.
mandatory, but
And
it does help in certain aspects, you know.
yeah, man. And there's one thing I think is the best one, I guess. You know, I said in the beginning of our webinar about like personal projects. Man,
Yeah.
I'm being worked since 2005. You know, it's getting almost 20 years. You know, it's 17 years working on this field, and I'm still doing personal work.
Yeah,
I'm doing a
of
lot
course.
of personal works. I do at least 6, 7 personal works per year. It means like it's one personal work for each 2 months. You know, um,
It's
and this
development. It's so important. It's your own development as an
yeah, man.
artist.
I'm not saying like the people need don't oh stop going out with your friends. No, it's not that. It's you don't need to go like in your night, stop sleeping because of doing personal works or freelance stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like you need to spend time practicing your skills. You need to find 1 hour, like you go to the gym. You go to the gym, you go to, let's say you do karate, I like to play tennis. Sometimes I go to the court alone with my robot. I just stay there for 1 hour hitting some balls, practicing. And then if I want to be better in 2D, I need to practice more stuff. I need to do. And actually, when you do personal work, you can challenge yourself for stuff that you are not being challenging in your actual work, in your actual job. Oh, I've been a long time and not practicing ZBrush. You can go there and practice some rocks modeling. Oh no, I don't want. I want to learn how to do rocks procedurally, like Ali did for this Numenor shot. So go there and start practicing. I'll be showing something in my Instagram how I did this rock actually. I'm planning that, and then yeah, man, spend 1 hour at least per day, with your skills. That's
Of
that's
course,
it.
of course. I'm going to go for a more direct question here. I have a
Yeah.
question from Andrea Amentrano. I hope that's your name. I'm sorry, Andrea. Andrea is asking, can the course be followed even if you've never used Clarice?
I guess yes. I guess no. Yes, for sure. Because there is one point. I knew Clarice. I know actually Clarice is not that very popular from the people out the companies. When they get in the company, they get surprised. Oh my God, what's this software? I never heard it before. And then they might get stuck in their job in their career. So what I planned was the beginning of the Clarice steps in the course. I start from creating the template and then creating automatically assigned materials using shading layers. I created like that pedestal for with the oh my God, the crumb ball and the color checker, that stuff, that really simple geometry. We start creating our template using that geometry, applying shading automatically where it's chrome, where it's plastic, where is the color box, color checker. So everything is applied automatically by creating the template. It's like 1 hour or so that the people, you understand how they can build their template. I will give the template for free, but I really advise the people taking and build at least 2 or 3 times. If they do this 2 or 3 times, they will be able to create any kind of environment. And that's the way the company use it to work. You have, in Nuke, you press the button, there's in a pipeline, there's a button in any company that you create the template for start something. And in Clarice is the same, in another software is the same, and this is I'm trying to do, it's preparing the people, preparing the artists to using Clarice in a professional way and achieve something good, that they can show later. Yeah, we answer the question again directly. Yeah, for everyone, it's possible using Clarice.
Yeah. So okay. So let's see here. So more questions. There are so many questions. Just like going through them and see which ones would be the best ones for right now. Okay, so the Scarjar show, I guess that's his name, I don't know. The Scarjar show asks, is there any kind of bridge between Clarice and Nuke, just like Katana has a Nuke bridge? Is there anything like that?
I mean, this bridge, I didn't know this bridge. Like they said, like it's from
Yeah, and
Katana to
Katana
Nuke.
for
They
Nuke,
said,
but I guess it doesn't. I it's a bit of a trick question because I wanted to
yeah,
kind of like start talking about it. Like, I feel like a lot of people in the industry are always waiting for these bridges between softwares, but you don't really need a bridge between Clarice and Nuke. The only thing you're gonna do is
yeah,
from Clarice, you're gonna be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're gonna be bringing in all the AUVs and the renders, and then of course you're gonna bring in the camera. And
yeah,
then inside of Nuke, you're going to rebuild that shader in the UVs, and then you're going to have the camera to help you with the matte painting. So, to be
yeah.
honest, a bridge is not really necessary, to be honest.
No, yeah, no. In this case, I guess no, because like in UK, it's a composition software. You can have your render from Maya, from 3ds Max, Blender, for any other software,
Yeah.
or even from Houdini, for example. In our case, from Clarice, and then you can do
Yeah, of
the
course.
comp. In the companies, usually they have a pipeline that that have this kind of thing,
Yeah,
like
exactly. They've
you
built it in top, of course.
exactly. You assign it to the shot, you assign it to the show, and then you press
Yeah.
the to read, and then you are going to read what you have rendered in that shot
Yeah.
specifically.
That's
So
actually a good
yeah,
segue to the next question. So I have a question from Kleber Coutinho. Kleber Coutinho is asking, how long did it took to render one frame of this environment you have on the course, or did
good
you
question.
use a render farm?
Yeah, that's a good question. Usually, to be honest, I used it to render in my machine. Okay, it took me actually 3 nights to render in my machine. But I know that some people might have not like a one time, might have time to render the shot in their home. My shot took me around 20 minutes per frame, I guess. It was with there's like let me see, I guess it was 40 billions of polygons also in that shot. It's very would be very heavy in any other software. So it took me just 20 minutes. It's very, very okay. Industry, we do professional shots. We took at least 8 hours, 6 hours in any shot that we do when you are rendering in the industry. So yeah, it took me around 20 minutes or so. But for the course, for the sake of the course, the people that assign to the course, you get points through Fox Render Farm, that it's my partner on this project, that will help each student render their project. So they can animate it, those stuff, with at least 108 frames, actually. They can have a count, more or less. But if you have like 108 frames, and your frame is taking at least, let's say, 40 minutes, 30 minutes in your machine, that might be similar of mine, they might spend like $8 in the farm, but they you get 100 points in the farm for free when they sign the course, and probably they will pay less than 100 for the course. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
yet
yeah,
the
yeah,
price, but probably it's gonna be like that.
yeah,
And like, yeah, I mean, I used the render farm in the final because the Fox render farm gave me all the points that I needed to render this project,
yeah. Of course.
and they give you the points enough points to do your render too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we've been going already for 2 hours. I think we're gonna wrap up.
Wow.
I'll leave it for one last question. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes now, Ali. So there's still a lot of questions. I do apologize that we didn't went through all the questions. I promise that Ali will be back on my stream. You'll be back on Hugo's desk, and we will follow up some more questions. But I guess I'll leave you with the last question, Ali, which I think is really suitable because it's for a junior artist. So I have a question here from Lee. and this will be the last question. Again, apologies if we can't do any more. So Lee is asking, what does one who is completely new to art world need to learn to be able to get here? I've just graduated from high school, and I'm not sure where to begin since there's so much online. So I guess Lee just graduated from high school. What advice would you give him to start if he wants to go into this path of visual effects in this industry? Just fresh, I guess he's like 17 or 18 or something.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't have any knowledge about 3D software, it's gonna be a bit more longer your path. Okay. But let's say you have at least some knowledge about ZBrush, some Maya or Blender or 3ds Max, something like this. It's okay. You have some knowledge about 3D already. You know the axis, the 3D axis already. So it's cool. You are able to rotate your stuff in your screen. You can see something there. I would advise you start creating small stuff. Dioramas. Let's say you see one nice picture I don't know. There's some dioramas you can find in internet, in YouTube. Actually, I love to watch that. I want to have a garage actually at home to create those kind of diorama, and then you can find a kind of diorama and check and do a list. Take notes. Okay, I have trees. Okay, what software I need to learn to create trees, and then you are going to find a speed tree. It's a good software to do this. If you don't want to learn speed tree, it's okay, no problem. You don't have to learn speed tree in this case. You can find a package of tree. I have one actually. I have some in my store actually in my art station. It's especially for Clarice actually, and you take the tree. Okay, I have, let's say you have a bench in your stuff. You have to scoop something in ZBrush. You are going to do this small stuff, and then you grab those kind of thing. Like you have the light pole near of your bank. It's kind of a small thing that you need to do. It's just a small thing. Like you scatter some grasses. You see if it's beautiful. If you get a really nice result with this small thing, do this a couple of times. Let's say 5-6 times, and then once you are good with this, you can grow your projects. Okay, now you are spending, let's say, 2 weeks doing your personal projects, or 1 month. I don't mind the time though. Okay, don't care too much about this. Also, focus on quality. That is important. And then you start increasing your project, the size of your project. Start putting more and more detail as you go. Please don't try to go crazy in your first project, because you might get lost and you might get sad, disappointed of yourself, because it's difficult. It's not easy. You need to press it small. Take small things, and then you are gonna be good for sure.
Cool, man. That's excellent advice. That's really
good
advice. No, that's really good advice. And I think also, like Lee, I would really focus your attention in just trying to discover what kind of softwares are being the industry standard right now, and then just try them out. Most of these softwares have either a free version or an educational version or a trial version. It is actually the learning, the entry level is quite small now these days. And not to mention there's free software. You can start learning with Blender, you can start learning with Unreal, you can kind of definitely go into the free softwares first and then get your footing into art creation, and then just start sharing your art with your friends on your social media, get some feedback, and that's it. That's really it, and always network. You can always go into LinkedIn. You can always follow Ali or follow me on LinkedIn and just ask questions. That's how it works. Networking is that way.
That's it, man. That's the point. The people can poke me and then asking, and maybe I will be probably send an audio probably, because I hate to start to stay just writing. Yeah, I guess that is it.
Yeah, I guess that's it, Alia. We're gonna wrap up. And I would love for thank you so much for joining today, Ali. It was great to have you on the show. It was great to have you on the channel here. I hope you'll return very soon. Make sure you post and let us know when the course is done. I'll make sure to promote it as much as I can from my side as well. And yeah, I would love for people to congratulate Ali for his amazing work and to thank him for his time. It was so good to have you here, and I know you took time of your busy schedule to do this shot and to go through your pipeline. Can't thank you enough for sharing all this stuff for free. Thank you so much.
Oh man, I wish to have more time to share more, and help more people, make the people understand more about this amazing field that is the environment, 3D environment. And thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for stay 2.5 hours almost with us.
No man, we still have almost 200 people watching still right now, and you can see on the chat so many people thanking you already. So many people, and of course keep in mind the chat is like 20 seconds delayed. So you're just getting the thanks now, but it was already 20 seconds later already. So but yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure I'm gonna invite you again. You'll be back, I'm sure. And yeah, let's also thank all of the wonderful people from Brazil that were here, because I saw so many people giving so much love to me and Ali. So muito obrigado para toda a gente do Brasil. Muito obrigado por toda a gente ter visto o stream. Okay,
cool, man.
Ali.
So cool, man.
I'll leave
Thanks
you
a lot
to
for
it.
having me again, man.
No problem. Let's all say goodbye to Ali, and goodbye, man. I have a great time, and I'll see you all in the next stream. We'll be back next month, as you all know. Hugo's Desk is always every month I do a live stream. So in about a month from now, we'll be back with I don't know what yet. We'll see. It will be a surprise. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you all later.
Awesome. See ya, bro.
Bye.